The word disease isn't just for, like cancer and things like that. It's when you break it down, dis-ease. You're not at ease. Anytime the body is not performing at its best, basically is what the word says, disease. So we want to look for alternatives that are better for our body and don't really mask what our body is trying to tell us when it is not at ease. So hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and in today's video I'll be telling you all about 5 things that I do in my daily routine that are holistic replacements or alternatives to things that you probably use. All of these things are things that I have implemented into my routine for a long enough time to know that they work for me. And I share them because there are some things that we just don't know that are alternatives for. And we always want to look for a more holistic way to, relieve pain, relieve certain symptoms, cold and flu symptoms. There are so many different, illnesses or diseases in the body. And the word disease isn't just for, like cancer and things like that. It's when you break it down, dis-ease. You're not at ease. Anytime the body is not performing at its best, basically is what the word says, disease. So we want to look for alternatives that are better for our body and don't really mask what our body is trying to tell us when it is not at ease. So here are 5 holistic things that I do in my day-to-day life that are alternatives. Number 1, the first alternative or holistic thing that I do is I don't use mouthwash. I do have mouthwash. I just don't use Listerine or the Up and Up or whatever brand that you use, the Scope, the whatever, the Act. I realized that number 1, mouthwash does have fluoride in it, and fluoride can have benefits such as strengthening your enamel, or so they say, and I mean, I'm not a dentist or anything like that, so don't peg me as an expert in any of these fields. I just know that what works for me and what I have tried and what I have seen a difference in is using a mouthwash that doesn't mask the smell, because that's ultimately what we're doing with mouthwash. We just want to mask the smell of bad breath. But if we know what bad breath is caused by, then we can target the root cause of bad breath, which can be, gut issues, digestive issues, which can be not brushing the tongue properly, not flossing, so all those things, right? And sometimes we want to ignore those underlying causes and put a band-aid on it by just masking the smell. But if you know where the smell comes from, then you can delete the cause. So instead of using mouthwash, I actually use salt water. You know how there's this Bible verse that says, like, we are the light of the world, the salt of the earth? Yeah, so like salt cleanses everything. That's why it says that, because salt cleanses everything. It has properties, minerals, and salt is used for many different things. There's actually some deodorants that have salts in them, like mineral salts, and it's used to keep the bacteria that causes that inflammation and that stickiness and that smelliness. It's used to keep that away. But I use it for mouthwash. First, grab a glass jar, and then I put some water in it. Get some pink Himalayan sea salt. And the reason why I use this over regular sea salt is that pink Himalayan is known for a higher mineral content, like iron, zinc, and a higher level of trace elements. And then I just shake it up, and I have my mouthwash. So the salt water, I would say it's safe to use every single evening. So I use it right after I floss my teeth in the evening and just swish it around in my mouth. And the pink Himalayan salt in specifics, it has a lot of different antioxidant ingredients and benefits. So like I said, definitely do your research for yourself, and then if you feel like it resonates with you, if it works for you, then do it. But it definitely works for me because It actually keeps away bad breath germs better than Listerine and Act. I mean, sometimes you can smell the minty smell from that person's breath, right? But you can still smell an underlying smell of like funk. It's crazy, right? Which just shows how much it's used to only mask and not actually prevent. The second alternative that I have that is holistic is an alternative to painkillers. Now, personally, I experience a lot of things in my body that I don't necessarily talk about, all of them on this channel. But one, for example, is I have tendonitis and arthritis in both of my knees. And I've been dealing with it for years now. And I was in pain for years in my knees before I even knew what the pain was caused from. Now, I'm a very physically active person. I'm actually a stretch therapist. I'm a yoga teacher, and I love to be physically active. I like to walk and jog. So when it affects my everyday life and my knee pain and inflammation and things like that in the body, I have to look at where it's originating at and to not mask the pain. So also, if you're a woman, you know about that time of the month, right? You know, anybody who has a yoni knows that you once a month go through this cycle, and it's just a cycle to, you know, do what our bodies are honestly innately made to do, which is make them babies. But if we're not making a baby, you know, we don't need to worry about all those processes. We experience changes in the body, and we experience pain in sometimes multiple parts of the body, sometimes lower abdomen or the tits or the whatever part, right? All of those pains, you know, sometimes we even mask those pains, right? The most, I guess, common way to do it is, you know, just pop them ibuprofens that'll leave that Advil. I used to be one of those people. However, I realized that, number one, there's a lot of other ways that you can mitigate that pain during that time. Some of that I can make a whole different separate video about it, but it's all about targeting why those symptoms happen. One of them for me was cutting out dairy. I experienced a lot less pain during that time cutting out dairy, and I explained that in another video. Boom, you can watch it here. An alternative to that is edibles. So edibles, THC, CBD, just a crash course on it. I'm not like an expert in the field. Again, don't peg me as an expert on any of these things, but I am an advocate of the use of the ganja. So a few things that I forgot to mention when I first filmed this video. Number one, most people would actually prefer to smoke the plant, the herb. I don't like smoking anything. I don't like inhaling anything. So I like ingesting it for two reasons. Number one, it just feels safer. Number two, it actually goes through your bloodstream and then to your liver, which creates more of a body effect than a head effect. Right, so if you've ever heard about anybody talking about like the psychoactive effects of marijuana, it does have a psychoactive effect, and also some people have experienced paranoia, especially if you have anxiety. It may honestly, possibly, depending on who you are, it's different in everybody, could possibly cause more anxiety. I'm not condoning the use of any illegal substance, even though it's almost legal in all 50 states, but I definitely think that it has a lot of benefits for the body, and it is a really good alternative. Now, what I'm going to recommend is a brand called High Falls Hemp, and I've been using their gummies. Now, if you're lightweight, this is really good for you because it has CBD and THC. CBD just mellows out the effects of the THC, so you really won't feel a high. So if you want the health without the high, then this is perfect for you. But if you like feeling a little more than a buzz, and this probably isn't for you, you probably want to go with something else that has less CBD in it. Another thing that I want to mention is just watch out for these companies that have like Delta 8. I think Delta 9 is okay, but Delta 8 has been shown to be produced in a lab, which is just not right. So this brand, they don't have that whole Delta thing going on. It's just CBD, THC, right? And I have a coupon code, or I have a link that you can, when you sign up, you can save some money off of your purchase. And if you order over $25. You get some money off as well. You can get 15% off when you sign up for their email list and all that stuff. So check them out as well. If you do smoke ganja, then watch out for these designer weed that I like to call it. The designer weed that they be having, like the dragon fruit kush, or like the citrus apple blow, or whatever they be naming it, because some of these suppliers be mixing a female plant with another female plant and making a whole new plant, which I don't understand how they be doing that, but they do. Okay, so just be overall really vigilant about what you're putting in your body. And there's different things that work differently for everybody. Everyone who's ever said that they had a horror story with edibles, by the way, it's either because they did not read the directions on the dosage, or they ignored the directions and was like, this ain't working, and then took more and ended up regretting it every single time. So I actually think that edibles are better than smoking. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah. The third alternative that I have is, instead of vitamins, I take sea moss. Now, I used to be really into the gummy vitamins, mostly because I really enjoy gummies, right? I am a big health person, and I have always been a big health person. I don't eat meat. I don't eat any red meat or even white meat for that matter. I do have fish in my diet, but it's not a daily thing. And because of that, I know that I'm low on iron. Also, because I do blood tests as well. Get your blood tested if you haven't in a while. I know that I'm sometimes low in hemoglobin, iron, and vitamin D, especially for, like I mentioned before, my osteoarthritis and tendonitis, right? There's certain things that, depending on you and your body, your specific body, you need more of. So you need those vitamins and minerals, because sometimes if we have nutritional gaps, we need to fulfill those vitamins and minerals. However, a lot of the vitamins and minerals on your shelf at the Target or the grocery store, wherever you go, they have fillers in them that are just there to produce more junk in your body, despite it saying all the things that it says on the label. That's just marketing. I started to partake in sea moss because sea moss has almost like 99% of the daily vitamins and minerals you need for a holistic nutrition. And also, sea moss is really easy to take. You can put it in your oatmeal, you can put it in your smoothies if you're a big smoothie person, and your salads, right? And so I actually have a affiliate code with this guy I know personally called Jeff. His sea moss business is called Plant-Based Jeff, and he's amazing. He also has like a Facebook group that I'm in called Trying to Go Plant-Based. So if you're trying to go plant-based or want to know more plant-based alternatives, or even just health alternatives for everyday life, he has an awesome business, and I partner with him on the sea moss, because why not? Sea moss is becoming a lot more popular and mainstream as well, but I like that he also has packages, and I like the turmeric one. If you see this video right here, it kind of cracked in the freezer because I keep mine in the freezer to keep it fresh. And I also always order 2 at a time. So if you want that deal, and to look at all the other things that he has, like other types of sea moss and tinctures and packages and stuff like that. He even has like, 7-day cleanses and things. Go to the link in my description box, check him out, and yeah. But definitely do your research on these vitamins, because sometimes they be having stuff that we don't know. Alternative number 4 is, instead of antihistamines or allergy medication for my seasonal allergies, I use a homemade, I guess I would call it allergy paste. So I have a homemade allergen recipe, and before you get skeptical, believe me, I have really intense seasonal allergies. And I'm talking about winter, summer, spring, fall, like every season. And I was really heavy on the Claritin. At one time, it was Zyrtec. Always carrying the pocket tissues in my purse or my pocket. But recently, I found that there are benefits of a lot of our foods and ingredients in our foods that we can look at for natural relief. If we look at the symptoms, if we're experiencing, stuffy nose or congestion or sneezing, what's causing that in the body? And can we look at a holistic alternative? So I make a homemade turmeric, apple cider vinegar, water, what else? Honey, and black pepper mixture. Mix it all up. So first I grab a glass or a jar, and then you'll only need 4 ingredients. The first one is going to be turmeric. I put 2 tablespoons of this. Turmeric has a curcumin, which is both an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and it neutralizes free radicals to keep you healthy. So I put two tablespoons of that, and the next one is going to be apple cider vinegar. And this helps relieve allergy symptoms by boosting the immune system, helping break up mucus, and also supporting lymphatic drainage. So if you have a cough or cold, this is really great for that. I put 2 tablespoons of this as well. The next ingredient that you're going to need is honey. And honey is a humectant, so it keeps things moist, so it's really good for your skin. Not only that, but it decreases inflammation, and so that's why they tell you to put it in your tea when you have a sore throat. And again, I use 2 tablespoons of this. So yeah, 2 tablespoons of turmeric, 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons honey, and off camera I put 2 tablespoons of water just to dilute it all out. The last ingredient is black pepper. This helps with detoxification, and it also helps cleanse your intestines and helps regulate your heart rate and blood pressure. So I put a couple shakes of this, and then I blend all of those things together, and there I have it. It's really simple. So believe me, it works really good. I've been partaking in this for about 3 months now, and it takes maybe about 3 or 4 days after you stop taking antihistamines to kick in. But once it's there, it's smooth sailing after that. I usually take about 1 tablespoon of this per day in the morning, and I'm good to go. Seriously, good to go. Holistic alternative number 5. Sometimes we start to feel clogged up in the head, brain fog, and we just feel unmotivated, right? If you wake up early in the morning and you always feel tired, you need some energy. And what you don't need is all that caffeine. Now, I know a lot of us drink coffee. First of all, you can spend a lot of money on coffee daily, and over time, over the long run, caffeine is not good for the body. So my alternative is breath work and movement. No, seriously, I know a lot of y'all said, I was hoping for something else, like maybe some nootropics booster. I mean, nootropics are good too. I've talked about that on my channel before. But seriously, when you talk about breath is like our life force. Would we be alive without breathing? No, right? And what happens when you get excited? What happens when you get anxious? Your breath actually speeds up along with your heart rate and blood pressure, right? And then what happens when you get low on energy? You have low blood pressure, your heart is not pumping as fast throughout the body, and your breath is slower. So we can literally use the manipulation of the breath, speed it up, slow it down, or facilitate it more effectively throughout the body and get our energy up. A lot of this goes with movement, staying moving and staying active throughout the day. Maybe if you have a desk job, you can think about taking more stretch breaks throughout the day. Maybe if you sit down a lot, you can think about doing breathwork exercises. I love to alternate breathing between both of my nostrils. Pro tip, it helps to balance out the doing side of the brain and then the receiving side of the brain. So there's a reason why one of your nostrils is more clogged when you first wake up in the morning, because one nostril is more open when you are at rest, and the other nostril is more open when you are at play, meaning when you're in the doing, right? Do your research on it. It's called alternate nostril breathing. I am a yoga and meditation teacher, so I can make a whole other video on breath work. I probably have. If I find it, then I'll put it here. But those are my 5 holistic alternatives. Let me know how you thought about those alternatives, and let me know which ones you are already trying or something that you learned differently today that you will try. All right, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.